Good evening. I want to call to order the regular meeting of the Economic Development Commission for Tuesday, February 10th, 2026. Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Commissioner Taglay.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Thank you, Commissioner Taglay. Roll call. Ms. Miranda.
Good evening, Honorable Chair. I will proceed with taking the roll call. Commissioner Chang,
present.
Commissioner Hughes,
Here.
Commissioner Taglay,
Present.
Vice Chair Hugh,
Present.
and Chair Reyes.
Here.
All commissioners noted present. Thank you.
All right. Agenda item 4, public comments and suggestions. Section is reserved for public comment on consent calendar and items not listed on the agenda, but that are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the commission. Verbal comments may be limited to 3 minutes per speaker, subject to the chair extending a maximum of 5 minutes per speaker with a total time allotted not to exceed 45 minutes unless the chair extends. Do I have anyone here tonight for public comment? Seeing none, I will close public comment.
Chair, if I may.
Thank you. Go ahead, Ms. Miranda.
For the record, in advance of tonight's meeting, unredacted hard copies of written correspondence received before the 3 p.m. deadline today have been provided to the commission accordingly. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Miranda. Agenda item 5, consent calendar. 5A, approval of minutes. We've all had our copy of the minutes from the last meeting. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion approved by Vice Chair Hugh and a second by Commissioner Chang. I believe our screens are working tonight. Okay, so tap your screen. You need to vote. And the minutes are approved from the last meeting, 5-0. Agenda item 6, new and old business. 6A, review and consideration of an informational report regarding the programs and services provided by the Long Beach Small Business Development Center, SBDC. Ms. Miranda?
Thank you, Honorable Chair and members of the Economic Development Commission. This evening, we are honored to have with us Director of the Long Beach Small Business Development Center, Brad Pollock, who will provide an informational report regarding the programs and services provided by the Small Business Development Center, or SBDC. At this time, I would like to invite Director Brad Pollock to the podium for this presentation. Excuse me. Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Pollock.
Good evening. How are you?
Fantastic.
Can you hear me okay?
Perfect.
Now it's better. I can see you. Thank you so much for your time, commissioners. Thank you very much. Kiana, thank you for all of your support. I appreciate it. I told Kiana ahead of time that I was going to get lost looking for the City Hall because I'm the only person on the planet who did get lost. And I got lost, and I'm happy to be here. So if we could maybe go to the next slide, please. Thank you. So again, my name is Brad Pollock, and I am the director of the Long Beach City College Small Business Development Center, which is also known as the SBDC. And just out of interest, are you already familiar with the SBDC in some capacity or another? Okay, some of you are. Okay, great. So I want to talk a little bit about the SBDC because it's a really great program, and it serves our communities well, serves businesses, and it's just something that very often flies under the radar because there's all these different services. So wanted to just take a moment to talk about that. If I could get the next slide, please. Thank you very much. So the SBDC is a great program. It's a national program, and there are small business development centers all across the United States. There are about 1,000 SBDCs, and I'm the director of the Long Beach SBDC, which is in Long Beach, of course, and we serve Long Beach, and we serve about 15 or so gateway cities, including Cerritos. We are hosted, like many different SBDCs across the country, we are hosted by a college, and in this case, we're hosted by Long Beach City College. We have a great partnership with LBCC, and you know, our offices are on the campus of LBCC, but we do most of our advising on the phone or via Zoom, or we go to your place of business, which I'll explain in a moment. So if I could have the next slide, please. So what does an SBDC do? We offer no-cost business advising to businesses that are getting started and to businesses that are growing. It's no cost, which sometimes can be confusing to some people. They don't necessarily believe that it's no cost, but it is. It's no cost because it's a federally funded and a state-funded program. So the Small Business Administration, the SBA, provides some funding. In California, the California Office of the Governor's Budget and Economic Development Department offers some funding. We get local funding. So it's no-cost advising. And so that allows you, as a taxpayer, to not, you've already paid for our services, so it allows you to not have to be out of pocket when you are in need of services. So that's why it's a no-cost service. If I could have the next slide, please. So the individuals who offer these services or provide these services are paid experts in their respective fields. So you have no-cost business advising provided by paid experts in their respective fields. And at the Long Beach SBDC, there are 16 business advisors, all of whom have areas of expertise in different areas, and some cross-pollinate in terms of their areas of expertise, but they're paid experts in their respective fields. So if I can have the next slide, please. Thank you very much. So what do we do? We offer business advising, but we do it in a one-on-one situation. So we offer one-on-one business advising, and we also teach workshops. These are also provided by the advisors. So the workshops are no cost, and the advising sessions are no cost. But it's really not about the no cost. It's about the quality of the expertise that is provided. So if I can have the next slide, please. So some of the areas that we cover, the fundamentals of business, and then we get into much more advanced scenarios depending on the client's needs, but cover the full spectrum of business needs. For example, business planning. It probably won't surprise you that there are many businesses that are in existence and have been in existence for a long time that do not have a business plan. And there are plenty of individuals that are thinking of starting a business or have already started a business, just started a business, and they don't have a business plan. So we do a fair amount of advising our clients on how to pull together a business plan so they at the very least have a roadmap to allow them to understand where to go, which you might think would be a fairly straightforward scenario, but many businesses do not have business plans, so we help a lot with that. We have a huge, huge focus on helping businesses understand their financials. There is a large number there's a large percentage of businesses that are doing okay, but they don't necessarily know if they are profitable. They don't necessarily have an understanding of the vernacular of accounting necessarily. They're not really comfortable with balance sheets or profit and loss statements or cash flow statements. They might be much more gifted on the creative side, et cetera. And so they come to us and ask for help in understanding their financials so they can know whether or not they're in a position to be able to hire more people, if they're in a position to be able to expand their location. Understanding financials is a huge focus of our advising. And we're really glad that we're able to do that because it's, the advising has helped many businesses go from thinking that they had to shut their doors to actually understanding that there were things that could be done, whether it's raising prices or doing some other things to actually continue and to grow and to thrive. We offer all kinds of help with marketing strategizing, which I'm actually going to give an example of in a moment. Business loan advice, a huge part of what an SBDC does. We help businesses understand how to gain access to capital. We ourselves don't do the advising. I mean, the lending, but we help you pull together your documentation, which again can be challenging for a lot of businesses. So how you put your documentation together and how you figure out what your projections are and all of your financials, that allows you to understand what type of loan, if indeed you are, in a position where you can get a loan, you should get. So a lot of business loan advice, which is a huge asset to the community. Then there's many different other topics. There's management, operations, understanding how to hire, understanding how to tackle e-commerce, AI, all kinds of challenges regarding import, export, as you can imagine, and many more. So these are that's just sort of just a brief overview of the type of work we do with our clients. And we are very collaborative as a team at the Long Beach SBDC. So it might not be clear in a session with a client that this would be the solution to his or her problem. So an advisor will bring in another advisor on the team, and perhaps even another advisor on the team. So the way that I like to run the operation is have us be very collaborative as advisors, because running a business, as you all know, is complicated. And it's not just a black and white issue that needs to be resolved. It's very often gray and needs a lot of conversation. If I could have the next slide, please. Our process is very straightforward in terms of how you sign up. You register with us, and we assign you to an advisor, and you work with the advisor who works with you in a scope of work. So the way it works is this, is you would call us and you would express your interest in learning more about what we do. We learn more about your situation to see if we can in fact help you. We explain to you how to register as a client, which is a very straightforward thing to do. And then we assign you to an advisor who will help you with your particular challenge. You meet with the advisor, and the advisor will say, let's suppose you need a business plan. All right, we're going to figure out how to map out this business plan. It's probably going to take anywhere from, let's say, 5 to 7 sessions. Each session is probably about an hour long. We're going to work together on during these 5 or 7 sessions, and at the end of that scope of work, you will have your business plan. We're not doing the business plan for you. We're doing it with you. You're guiding the ship, and we're helping you keep focused. So that would be, and then you might get to the end of that scope of work, but during that conversation with the advisor, it's been clear that you also need help with marketing. So you would then be referred to another advisor who will help you with marketing. And then you create a marketing scope of work. And from there, you might need help with access to capital. So you might go from scope of work to scope of work to scope of work, all with different advisors. That's how we approach it. If I could have the next slide, please. Thank you. This is just the contact information, which I'll have at the end. So that's just an overview of what the small business development business does. It's very simple in its description. Obviously, it gets complicated in light of the complexities of each situation that come up. But we offer business advising, no-cost business advising, offered by paid experts in their respective fields. And the workshops are very popular. The workshops, everything from how to sell when you're not a salesperson, how to start a business, how to develop an actionable business plan, how to understand your financials. I mean, the list is long, and they're very well attended. And we're finding that a lot of the workshops that are becoming even more popular are the ones where there's live Q&As, and this all came about during COVID. When COVID hit, we were working 7 days a week, sometimes 20 hours a day, and we just had as many people, sometimes hundreds of people, on these live conversations to understand how to tackle EIDL and PPP and all that sort of stuff. So we're very proud of what we do, and I wanted to give you an example. It won't take long. I wanted to give you an example of the type of thing that we do. So if I could have the next slide, thank you so much. So I just wanted to give you an idea of a marketing challenge that came our way a few years ago. We had a very good client who owned a music school in Long Beach. He has since sold the school, and the school is still there and is doing well. But he came to us a number of years ago, and he came to us with an operational challenge. And I was listening to what he was asking about his operations, but I was also listening to how he was describing his school. And I thought he's such a passionate guy, he's a great music teacher, but there was something that wasn't translating in the way he was describing his business. So I said, let's work on that. Let's really get into telling your story a lot better than you are. And I have a strong feeling based on years of experience, strong point of view, I should say, that many of the marketing challenges that face our businesses aren't necessarily because the business owners don't know how to market. It's more about the fact that their story is not clear. And marketing is the act of telling stories and having those stories spread. That's what marketing is. So without the story, you're in trouble. You're in trouble in a million ways, but you certainly can't market if you don't have your story. So what we do at the SBDC is we help you build your story. We don't do the story for you. We help you build it so that you can do it. So I explained to the owner of this music school, look, there's 3 building blocks when it comes to storytelling as far as, marketing your business is concerned. You need to be able to be clear about your vision. You need to be able to be clear about your mission, and you need to be able to be clear about how you identify yourself as the unique operation or person that you are. So if I could have the next slide, please. So the first thing we talk about when we're building this is, again, to help the client understand how to build a story so the client can market his, her, their business more effectively. So if I could have the next slide, please, sir. So we think of vision as being a reflection of your expectations and your beliefs. That's how we sort of identify vision. And it's all about being able to understand how to articulate out loud, why am I doing what I'm doing? What kinds of problems am I solving with my business? What kind of a place do I want this business to be, both to work for, in, and also what kind of a place do I want the client to perceive the business to be? That's what the vision is. So I'll give you an example of it. The next slide, please. Thank you. So the vision of the Long Beach SBDC is to be what kind of place? It's to be a place of leadership, of motivation, of high energy, in which our clients start and grow successful small businesses and contribute to a stronger local economy. So our vision is to help our clients start and grow, but also to contribute as a result of that to the growth of the local economy. So that's vision, and the vision is the bedrock. That doesn't change. It's kind of like your principles and your values. Next slide, please. Then the next question is, all right, what is your mission? If the vision reflects your expectations and your beliefs and doesn't change, your mission can change. If I could have the next slide, please. So the mission of a small business provides the specifics about what your products or services are and who your clients are. I don't know if any of you have been to any of the myriad of networking events that you've been to over the courses of your careers, but I'm sure you have run into people when you are networking and you ask them what they do, and what comes out is unclear. You might have run across that. I have run across that many times. And you need to be able to articulate what it is that you do, what your products or services are, and who your customers are. So the mission, if we could have the next slide, please. Thank you, Kiana. The mission of the Long Beach Small Business Development Center is to provide no-cost business advising to businesses across all industries in our region. It's very straightforward. The mission can change. We could at one point, the vision doesn't change, but the mission can change. We can add services, take away services, add products, take away products. We can change our target demographic. That can change. We could suddenly say we're offering no-cost business advising and salsa dancing lessons. We could do that. We could add to the myriad of things that we can offer or take away. So the mission can change, but we need to be clear about what it is right now. If I could have the next slide, please. And then the final part of building your story is, what is it that makes you the red apple out of all the green apples? This is what befuddles a lot of businesses. Why would somebody use my services? Why would somebody use my products and not someone else's? What is it that makes me unique? And can you truly articulate what that is? So those 3 things, vision, mission, and the uniqueness, are what we focus on to help our clients come up with a story that is truly reflective of who they are and what they bring to the table. So once I got through this with the owner of the school, we were able to then focus on, all right, how does this all contextualize itself in the form of your school? What is your vision and what is your mission? Because this is a very passionate man. And we got to a point, I said, I want you to be able to walk into a room, and when somebody says to you, what do you do? I want you to be able to articulate it in such a way that you can succinctly say what you do, and it's reflecting who you are. So he got to a point where he said, well, my name is Bill McRae, and I'm the owner of Onstage Music Academy. And we are a pop and rock music school offering individual and group lessons to children and adults. Our principal focus is to teach our students how to love playing their instruments and how to perform live on stage in front of an audience. Those 2 sentences took 2 months to write. We didn't write it every day, but we worked on it over a course of about 2 months. And the point that I'm making here is that once you clarify why you're doing what you're doing and who you help, it opens up all kinds of opportunities from a marketing standpoint, and that can land you more clients, more leads, and increase your business. He could have said, I own a music school in Long Beach. He could have said, we teach everybody, but he didn't. He said, we teach children and adults. That is everybody. He could have said nothing more, but he said why he does what he does. Our principal focus is to teach our students how to do what? How to love playing their instruments and how to perform live on stage in front of an audience. So if I'm a parent in a networking event meeting this gentleman and I have kids and I listen to what this gentleman has to say and I can identify with the passion that he has for teaching, I would want my children to go there, to that school, unless it's just not geographically possible. So if we could have another slide, please. I don't remember what we got. Okay, that we can keep going. There's your sample story right there. I think if you can just keep going. Yeah, okay, so thank you. So rounding it all up, the way we approach our advising at the SBDC is we do everything we can to identify the specific needs of the client in hand and do everything we can to be as informative, as educational, and as much of a guide as we can so that that business owner can take that information and flourish and not rely on us to continue guiding the ship. It's information, it's guidance, and we're proud of what we do. There are always challenges, no question about it. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad, depends upon the situation. But we are able to work with just about anybody who has the desire to do the work across just about every industry. So, you know, that's who we are, that's what we do, and I hope that's added some clarity if you didn't know about us before. This last slide, well, you should have some flyers. There's a couple of flyers, and it has our contact information if you wanted to contact us or pass that along to any of your constituents who might need assistance. I have 2 names, my name at the top, and then Dan Rosenfeld. He and I are the administrators. We're Laurel and Hardy is who we are, to be honest. And we embrace everybody and do the best that we can to assign them to the right advisors who can help them with whatever situation they have. So I don't know if you have any questions, but thank you for your time. I really appreciate it.
Mr. Pollock, thank you so much for coming this evening. Do I have any questions or comments from any of the commissioners? Go ahead, Mr. Chang.
Sorry, I do. I don't want to take too much time. Sorry. So do you have any specific data on Cerritos businesses leveraging your services?
I do. I don't have it with me, but we have data on in each of the cities that we serve, which of our clients are in Cerritos. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head that we serve, 3 food services and 1 healthcare, but I can certainly get you that data for sure. For sure.
I appreciate it. Yes.
Okay. Can I just send it to Kiana?
Yes.
Would that be good? So we we serve a lot of food services, restaurants.
Right.
That's a big part of who we help, and we have expert advisors who are food services experts. We serve a lot of retailers, a lot of services industries. We don't necessarily have super high-tech existing companies coming across our threshold. Not that we couldn't necessarily help, depending on what the need is, but I'll get you that information. And I'll give it to you over sort of the past couple of years, so you have an idea.
Great, great. Because I think this is great service, right? This is what small business need, especially, right? And it's free, right? We don't want to be just a free services out there that no one uses. We want to have a specific way to refer clients to you, specific way to measure success. So one thing that I did notice was that you help people process business loans, right? If we can even quantify, hey, Cerritos businesses utilizing the service got $5 million in third quarter last year. That would be a compelling story.
Absolutely.
And if we can collaborate with you, I mean, this is, I don't know, I mean, just an idea. Maybe even
No, you're absolutely right, and
Yeah.
we should do that together. It's not too hard to pull it together.
right. And I'm even thinking, even the permitting, getting a business license, a permitting desk,
Yes.
you can just put your flyer right there,
Yes.
right? If they're coming into the office, they can see that. And then if we can have a quarterly report out to tell the compelling story, hey, we got a lot of help from this organization. This is great. I think that'll go a long way to help the economic business, to drive, I would say this is like a capacity multiplier for our business.
No
for our
question
city.
about it. And it's one of the many reasons I'm here tonight is to be able to spread the word, because you're just looking, I'm your marketing guy. So here I am, right?
Yes.
So I wish I could get the word out. I mean, most people that I meet at networking events and that sort of thing always say the same thing, which is, never heard of you.
Yeah.
Never heard of you. And the other thing too is, the interesting thing about just LA County and Orange County and the Inland Empire, there are a lot of services out there. There are a lot of opportunities for intrepid entrepreneurs to get assistance. And it gets to a point where it can almost be overwhelming. Like, we get a lot of calls with people thinking that we are the SBA and that we are lenders, which is understandable. I mean, we're the SBA, the SBDC, it's like, why would it not be confusing? So part of my hope is to unconfuse, which is not a word in the English language, but I just made it up, to unconfuse people's understanding of what we do. But absolutely, Commissioner Chang will get that data. I'll work with Kiana. We'll do it. It's not going to be dozens and dozens and dozens of businesses, but it'll be certainly significant, and then we can grow.
Yes, agree. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that.
Thank you, Commissioner Chang. Anybody else? Questions, comments? Commissioner Hughes.
Thank you for the report. That was great. I own the local newspaper here in Cerritos, and I'm legally adjudicated, so I place the DBAs for people. So that could be another pipeline for you. I was just thinking about that when I sat down, because they're not only in Cerritos, they're in other cities. But
Right.
that could be a nice. I just fire off, or I recommend to them, hey, have you talked to the SBDC?
Oh, thank you.
So that'd be okay.
Oh, please.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely. What's the newspaper?
Los Cerritos Community News.
Okay.
Yep.
Got it.
Just Google Cerritos newspaper.
Okay.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Hughes.
Yes, I do have a question. Okay, regarding a no-cost training program, so I don't know, just for example, that if I have a hotel business, I need, house cleaning people. I need somebody to train them. Do you have this program to train the, housekeepers working for a cleaning company or working for hotel, or any front desk receptionist? I want to have somebody train them. Do you kind this training or no?
We ourselves at the SBDC do not. However, as I'm sure you're aware, there are workforce development programs all over the place, including at Long Beach City College. So, for example, if you and I were to talk and you were able to tell me what you're looking for in particular, I would talk with our workforce development folks and see if they offer training. But there's also organizations like Celico and Pacific Gateway, which I don't know if you're familiar with them. So we are, to answer your question, we ourselves at the SBDC, we do not offer training in that regard in broad strokes terms. We do offer training in sort of individualized scenarios. So for example, if a smaller business has hired a front office person, and they're doing their best to train that front office person, but they need some more guidance, we'll step in and offer some sort of training ideas and such. But we're not set up to be trainers in that broad stroke term. But I can certainly connect you. I would like to find out more about what you're in need of, and then be able to connect you with people who can legitimately offer you help.
Okay, thank you.
So think of us as a resource in that regard.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
Mr. Taglay?
Sure. Yeah. Thanks, Mr. Pollock. Appreciate your presentation. I myself am in marketing, so I appreciate all your perspective on marketing.
Was I right? Did I get it right?
And the telling of the story. I mean, a lot of my experiences have been digital marketing, but similar. Like you got to be able to communicate your story.
Need
So
the story.
I appreciate that. I'm wondering, for your clients, have you served primarily startup businesses or also established businesses? Because we've seen, we're all long-term Cerritos residents here. We've seen a lot of businesses come and go. I think the challenge with established businesses is they don't always know how to adapt to the current environment.
That's right.
Maybe they may be marketing to the same audience profile that they marketed to 20 years ago, but things have changed. Consumer habits have changed. There's a lot different competition. So, yeah, how can you provide services to the established business as well, just to help them stay in business?
Well, to answer your question, we don't only help startups. We very much are capable of helping anywhere from sort of $5 million to $50 million businesses. I don't think that the perception is that, from the vantage point of the $50 million manufacturer, say, that they would necessarily approach the Small Business Development Center thinking that we have the expertise, which is frustrating because we do. But the way we are presented is such that maybe I wouldn't go to the Small Business Development Center. So the depth of the expertise on the bench that I have in my pool of 16 advisors now is extraordinary. In fact, we were just talking about it as a group. I have an advisor call once a month. We're talking about this very thing. How can we tell businesses that are long established that we can help them? And the answer is we have to go and tell them that we can help them. Waiting around for the phone to ring, it's not going to happen. But one of the things that needs to happen, of course, is you need to have an excited, objective conversation with an advisor who can. You're in the heat of, you're in the middle of it. It's your business, and you're thinking, oh, I can't grow. You're in a quagmire of not confusion, but just almost just denial that you can move forward. And you need somebody to come in, whether it's us or anybody who's qualified, to say, all right, let's step outside. You've been marketing this way, or you've been doing things this way. I mean, look at what's happening with AI, right? So does that mean we just throw in the towel? No, it means you need to have a conversation that's an objective, creative conversation with somebody who can help you think how to think strategically about how to move into the future. And so, like, we have an advisor who's an expert in lean processes and that whole area of operations. We have an advisor we have several advisors who's an expert in explaining how to look at your cash flow and how to determine what would happen if you took this road or you took that road. So you're able to think in the presence of an objective partner, what would happen if I did this? What would happen if I did that? So we are more than excited to be able to do that for businesses. The problem is the businesses just don't know that that's what we can do, and I understand why. So happy to help. I think there's a ton of pressure on businesses to constantly be aware of all the newest this and the newest that, and how to keep up, and they sometimes will miss the point of remembering what their vision is, what their mission is, why they're doing what they're doing. And we can help you come back to earth in that regard. So we're able to help. I mean, you know, I can't say we can do that for every single huge business, small businesses, 500 employees or fewer, $100 million. That's a small business. Yeah, that's a small business. I mean, most of the businesses in this country are small businesses, but could we help the 500 employee, $100 million business? It would depend on what their scenario is, what their situation is, but I'm not focused on them.
Thank you. And just to clarify on that point, is there a certain level of size in terms of revenue or employees that disqualifies a business from your services?
No.
Okay.
No.
Thank you.
Well, everybody touched on my questions. That's fantastic. Mr. Pollock, thank you for coming. Anyone who knows me, 2 points. One, I appreciate what you do. I appreciate the fact that we actually have economic development at the state level as well as local level. Paid experts are definitely needed. To touch on Commissioner Chang's point, there's businesses in Cerritos that could use your expertise, but they probably couldn't go out and afford a paid expert on their own. They're struggling to make their business work, their business model, their vision, their mission to work. And the fact that we have development corporations like yours that can come in, step in, and handle that for them, or again, bring them back to planet Earth, is a really, really good thing. I think all of us on this dais, we care about economic development, we care about small businesses, and so we really appreciate someone like you and your organization doing what they do. The one thing I would like to add is there any reason, can you think of any business that maybe you couldn't help? I know that Vice Chair Hugh brought up training, but is there anything that might be outside of your scope?
Depending on how you read the fine print of whatever the fine print is, we're not necessarily that involved in nonprofits. But during COVID, that took, it was loosey-goosey. I mean, we do help nonprofits, but it's not necessarily something that we're putting out in the floodlights. So, but as far as like industries are concerned, we certainly are open to tackling any industry. We don't work with, we're not able to work with marijuana dispensaries. We're not able to work with adult entertainment. Those are the two that come to mind. So, but everything else that I can think of. I probably missed one that I should have mentioned, but I'll call you all tonight at midnight when I remember.
Guns and ammo.
Guns and ammo.
Guns and ammo.
Right.
Mr. Pollock, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
Thank
I
you so
appreciate
much.
it. Kiana, thank you very much for your support. I appreciate it. And I'll get you the information, and we'll figure it out. And then also I'll get you the information about what resources for training your staff.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pollock.
Have a good rest of your evening. Thank you very much.
All right, continuing on. Agenda item 6B, review and consideration of an informational report regarding the third quarter 2025 sales tax update for the city of Cerritos. Ms. Miranda.
Thank you, Honorable Chair and members of the Economic Development Commission. This evening's presentation provides a summary of the city's third quarter 2025 sales tax update prepared by HDL Companies, the city's third-party sales tax consultant. The information reflects Cerritos' recent sales tax performance, sector trends, and how the results support the City of Cerritos strategic plan, goal number 4, strengthen economic development. At this time, I would like to direct your attention to the screen for the presentation. Each quarter, HDL Companies conducts a detailed review of Cerritos' sales tax activity and meets with authorized city staff to discuss the recent performance results. These quarterly reviews help track overall sales trends, verify reporting accuracy, and identify changes across major business sectors. For the third quarter of 2025, July through September, Cerritos' core taxable sales remained consistent compared to the same period last year. Los Angeles County sales were also consistent, while the Southern California region experienced modest growth of 1.8%. Overall, the third quarter reflects stable local performance amid broader market pressures. This chart, prepared by HDL Companies, illustrates sales tax performance by major business group for the third quarter of 2025. Autos and transportation, general consumer goods, and business and industry continue to represent the city's primary revenue-generating sectors, forming the foundation of Cerritos' sales tax base. Autos and transportation, general consumer goods, and business and industry continue to anchor Cerritos' sales tax base. During the quarter, higher vehicle prices, restrictive financing conditions, and constrained consumer purchasing power contributed to lower receipts from new motor vehicle dealers. Increased global petroleum supplies also reduced fuel prices, resulting in lower tax payments from service stations. Outside of these factors, several retail categories remained stable or showed modest improvement, including apparel, department stores, and auto leasing. Additional contributions were supported by the county use tax pool, reflecting stronger online and regional transactions that are distributed to cities by population rather than at point of sale. For example, Cerritos received a portion of this revenue from major online retailers, such as Amazon, which report sales through the county pool rather than directly to individual cities. This chart highlights the city's top 25 sales tax producers for the third quarter of 2025, as reported by HDL Companies. The businesses are listed alphabetically and represent a balanced mix of automotive, retail, technology, and service-based companies. Together, these top 25 businesses illustrate the diversity and strength of Cerritos' commercial base, which continues to sustain the city's strong revenue performance. The quarterly results directly support the City of Cerritos strategic plan, goal number 4, strengthen economic development. Stable revenue helps sustain services and programs, while HDL's quarterly data gives staff early insight into economic shifts. In conclusion, the third quarter 2025 sales tax update confirms Cerritos' ongoing stability and diverse business foundation. Staff will continue working with HDL Companies each quarter to track results, monitor trends, and guide retention and attraction strategies. These efforts keep Cerritos well-positioned as a regional center for commerce and innovation. At this time, it is recommended that the Commission review and discuss the information provided and receive and file this report. This concludes my presentation. At this time, staff is available to answer any questions that the Commissioners may have. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Miranda. Any questions from the commissioners?
Again, real quick.
Mr. Chang.
Sorry. So looking at this again, we have a lot of business or a lot of tax revenue from the Cerritos Auto Square, right? From all those dealerships and financing companies and all that. And I remember seeing this probably a couple of months ago in another report that says the same thing. So we also talked about, it makes sense, and what we want to do is to diversify. Do we have a specific diversification strategy to say how we're going to grow the businesses in other places besides the Cerritos South Square? Do we have any plans, strategies in place?
Thank you, Commissioner Chang. Currently, the city is working on our economic development strategic plan. There was one adopted in 2007 that does talk about the need to diversify. And so we are hoping to update our economic development strategic plan, and in that, perhaps recommendations for how to diversify and kind of provide kind of a pathway for the city to move forwards in terms of economic development.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Chang.
That's it.
Anyone else? Commissioner Tagley? Go ahead, Commissioner.
Great. Thanks for the updates. I always enjoy these and seeing the chart with the mix. So kind of like what Commissioner Chang alluded to, looking at the mix of all of the business groups, it's pretty much flat across the board, which is not a bad thing. I mean, there are economic challenges, but I'd be curious to know, was that the goal for each of these? And then I guess for future, what would be a realistic goal, say, for growth if we're looking year over year in subsequent quarters?
Thank you for the question, Commissioner. So as you mentioned, from the performance results, it was consistent, which is a reflection of the broader market pressures, which were affecting many sectors regionally, not just in Cerritos. This included higher vehicle prices, restrictive financing conditions, and for the most part, the different categories did remain stable. Some showed modest improvement, which overall provided a steady quarter. However, in order to continue supporting our businesses, to ideally increase the results for future quarters, the city continues their retention efforts through stakeholder engagement, coordination citywide across departments, such as with our Business Spotlight program, to continue monitoring economic trends and using that to encourage our businesses to grow and also to attract businesses that will help contribute to our sales tax revenue.
Okay, great. And yet, to the point about the major business groups, looking a little bit further down the road, maybe a year or two, a couple of years, and we've got in the greater LA region a lot of economic activity and large events and the Olympics and all this stuff coming up. I mean, obviously, this isn't a corporate business. We're not looking at an earnings report or anything like that. And we don't answer to shareholders. However, growth is not a bad thing. So I guess if we're looking at any of these particular business groupings, if you're looking further down the road, are there any that you would see relative to where they're at now, having, say, year over year growth in a year, in 2 years, that which groupings and which businesses would you see having the ability to move the needle, I guess, just so to speak, in the coming years?
Thank you, Commissioner Tagle. One of the trends we've noticed, and I believe that staff was still kind of brainstorming on approaches toward it, is e-commerce, and that's kind of felt throughout all our businesses. Being a business in Cerritos, we really pride ourselves and thank our brick and mortar businesses who take the time to invest in the community, build these brick and mortar businesses. But we know that e-commerce side is highly competitive. As we Ms. Miranda mentioned in her presentation, there's the county pool for the e-commerce kind of transactions that occur. So that would be something that, while it's not necessarily on this document, we hear from the community that e-commerce, like how can businesses, have that competitive edge in this context of e-commerce?
Great, thanks. Yeah, that could apply to a lot of these businesses. So, yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Tagley. Commissioner Hughes?
Just one question. Great presentation. Is there any way to get more up-to-date data? This is like third quarter of 2025. Is that a function of the lagging, county sales tax county taxes they threw in there? Because that only recently happened, I think, last year. I remember writing about that.
Thank you for the question, Commissioner Hughes. Yes, so quarterly reporting, it aligns with the state data collection cycles. And typically we bring this quarterly report before the commission pretty much right after the city staff meets with our sales tax consultant, HDL Companies. So the quarterly report is essentially 1 quarter behind, which allows time for the information to be reported accordingly and then put together for the city to share the non-confidential information accordingly.
Vice Chair Hugh?
Yes, I do have one question. Obviously, most of the sales tax generated from auto dealers in Cerritos. Okay, I'm glad that I saw that we do have Target, Walmart, and Macy's and Nordstrom. Looks like, they are doing very well. I wonder, do we have any, supermarkets doing extremely well in the city of Cerritos? Any supermarket?
Thank you for the question, Vice Chair Hugh. So Cerritos, as you were, we do have several supermarkets, longstanding supermarkets, Ralph's, I believe Sprouts, Stater Brothers, in Cerritos, and they have been long-standing in our community. While I don't have any specific data or information with me right now, our supermarket businesses consistently continue to do well. We don't have sales tax data for those specifically. We can see if that information is available, but there have been no indications from our supermarket businesses of any concerns per se.
Okay, my question is to be one of the top 25 producers, about how much sales tax will generate for 1 quarter, just about, to be, one of the top 25 producers in Cerritos?
That is a great question, Vice Chair Hugh, and unfortunately, we don't have that information, but we can work with our sales tax consultant and the city's finance team to see kind of what is the threshold for it to be the top 25 producers. It's a great question.
Thank you.
Comment. I know Revolve does about 60 million. Yeah, they're doing really well. Yeah. I guess you don't have a wife that buys from there?
Ms. Miranda, thank you. A question, this might have been for Mr. Carey, or Sabrina can answer as well. The last I was looking at, again, from what I'm reading, we're still in a K economy, which is troubling in terms of long-term sustainability and stability of not just our businesses, but businesses in the region. The Fed, which we don't control, obviously, recently raised rates a 1/4 point, I believe, which signals there are still some inflationary pressures. With our consultant, are we still somewhat concerned about inflation rearing its ugly head? I know that is something that I worry about. I've said it constantly, even when I was back teaching economics. I said, most people can weather a recession, but if inflation or stagflation gets out of control, then that would affect major purchases like cars. So,
thank you, Chair Reyes, for the question. In our conversations with our sales tax consultant, I think the primary message that was conveyed was that it was just a very consistent quarter. There was not much, I would say, too much forecasting. While there are forecasts done, they tend to kind of look at kind of what's going on in the past. But these are all very great questions that we can definitely bring to our next meeting with our sales tax consultant and kind of dig a little deeper as to kind of their scope of kind of analysis for the city. It's a great question. Thank you.
thank you, Sabrina. I appreciate that. I think going forward, we want to make sure that I know, since I'm not at this meeting, I'm going to go shop and dine in Cerritos and spend my sales tax revenue in my city. So thank you so much, Ms. Miranda. All right. 6B is done. Reports. 7A, reports from designated commission staff liaison. Ms. Miranda.
Thank you, Chair Reyes. No items to report tonight.
Thank you so much. Moving on to 7B, reports from Economic Development Commission members. Anybody want to go first?
No report from me.
No report from Ms. Nothing. Mr. Taglay. Mr. Hughes.
Yeah, I mentioned the the DBAs to the SBDC guy, they seem to be picking up a little bit, the DBA placements in the paper. So just a thought, I mean, it seems like businesses are growing. And then what hit me was helping them out with that organization. So once they're done running it with me, I'll shoot that flyer to them and see if they work with a guy. But they'd only be in Cerritos.
That's what we're concerned about, Cerritos. No, I think that's again, I won't say it's a forecast, but definitely it's a positive sign when people are doing business as, and they're making those stipulations that it definitely pretends well for the future, which is what we're looking forward here. We're looking forward, like in economic development, that's why we're all on this dais. I know Commissioner Chang talks about return on investment. Commissioner Taglay talks about marketing strategy, and these are all ideas that we want to push forward to continue to gain as much sales tax revenue as possible. But yeah, it's not a bad report at all, and I think we're pretty happy. So if there's no other Economic Development Commission members, I just want to say keep going to Jeff in the theater. I was told to keep it short tonight, so I will. I will say on an ancillary note, next to the theater, Islands, Wood Ranch, our town center is doing quite well. They have about a 30% boost for the hours prior to a theater performance. I was in there. I went to go see British Rock Royalty, and I told my buddies, let's be there at 6 o'clock. So we make sure we get a seat. We got there 2 hours before showtime, and we almost didn't get a seat. They were already packed. So again, portends well for the future of Cerritos and for economic development, specifically in the town center, but the city as a whole. So that's really, really good. If there's nothing further, I will end this meeting. Have a good evening.